The only reason why I have ever ended a relationship with another person, be it with a boy or a girl, has been that I have been unable to convince that person that they should have integrated their shadow or the dark side into their self. And this has manifested into many different ways, all of which being negative, being aggressive, destructive, disrespectful. So there's really no positive to being your shadow, to being your shadow without being there to stop that from happening. So the integration of the shadow is really not the elimination of your dark side, but rather the understanding that it's there. But you need to be in front of it to stop it from breaking things, because it will be breaking things for you. It'll be breaking your things. The things you love, the people you love, you don't want to break them. You want to make them whole if they're broken, as you do. This is not like a new idea I'm proposing, that you should be caring for the things that you love and the people that you love. So, I know nothing about psychological terms, Carl Jung and all that. I've read nothing of Carl Jung. All I can speak about is my own experience and my own observations. The darkness is there in every person. It is in me, in everyone. It is part of being human. It is part of being this presence in this form. It is neither necessary nor realistic to try to destroy it. You're not going to be able to destroy it. It'll destroy you if you try to destroy it. It'll make your life miserable, okay? That's not realistic, even though it may be possible under some circumstances, I don't know. What is very realistic, though, is that you don't let it steal your presence. You don't let the darkness in you steal your light. That's what you don't want to do. And that's the only thing that you can do, that you need to do. To be there, to witness the darkness in you, and not let it. Because you're the only person who can stop that from acting itself out. You are the only person who can do that. I cannot build on a foundation which is not solid. Nothing can be built on that kind of foundation. Nobody can build anything on it, on top of it. The foundation needs to be strong for anything, friendship, any relationship, business relationship, romantic relationships, whatever. The foundation, which is strong, needs to be made of trust, in that I can trust you, that under no circumstances you will insult me, or you will belittle me, or you will try to control me. Under no circumstances you will do that. And I want to promise you the same, that under no circumstances I will do that to you or anybody else. I'll do my best not to. I may not be able to, but the attempt is what matters, not the actual accomplishment. But the actual accomplishment also matters. But it matters much less than does the attempt. Because in attempting to do things, in attempting to make these kinds of videos, I am learning, I am getting better. I am looking at the camera as though it's a dark hole which is sucking the information out of my mind in a magical way. I'm getting more and more comfortable with the lens which is looking at me as though it's an eye. Cyclope eye, though. You need to be attempting to not let your darkness steal your light. You need to be attempting to not let your darkness take away all the presence that you have at any moment. You don't let anything do that. Not only darkness, but darkness is strong, you know. It can be very, very persuasive. It may be hard to stand in front of it at times. It may be hard to resist the temptation to give in fully to the darkness sometimes. I understand that. But it doesn't mean that it's not worth trying. It is worth trying. Because benefits are very clear. It's going to be easier for you to just be and live and move around and talk to people. It's going to be much less hard for you to engage in difficult conversations because you're not afraid that your darkness may take you over at any point. So it's okay for you to go a little deeper than you would or other people would go because you're not afraid of your own darkness now. Your darkness is afraid of you. That's where you want to be. That's where I want to be. I don't want to be a slave to my darkness. And I don't want my darkness to be a slave to me either. I want to be equal with it. I want to have a say as loud and as heavy as the say which the darkness has over what to do or not to do, or what to think or not to think. I want to be a force that the darkness will have to reckon with. It cannot just choose to do whatever it wants. Every relationship I am in, or I will be in, or I am getting into, is still there because I have accepted to deal with the darkness of the other person. But there's nothing you can do about anybody else's darkness. But there's everything you can do about your own darkness. So all anybody can do really is to just try to help you as you're trying to find your own darkness. It's really finding your own darkness. Because once you have found it, once you've identified it, once you can say for sure that this is my darkness, I know that this is my dark side. That's what you need help for, to identify what your darkness is. Because your darkness may be living inside of you under disguise. You may be thinking it's not darkness at all. That's why it's able to survive. That's why it's able to maintain itself as light and as the opposite of darkness. Once you identify something as darkness, something sneaky is usually going to be your darkness. Saying thank you all the time can be a sign of darkness, in my opinion. Saying thank you without meaning it is a very clear sign of darkness, originating that thank you and masking itself as the positive thing. Now I'm thanking the other person. Why is it darkness? It's darkness because you are doing that which you are not meaning. You mean to say fuck you, and you say thank you. That's your darkness speaking. When you say fuck you, and you mean thank you, that's also probably your darkness speaking. But it's a different kind of darkness now. It's a more positive form of darkness. More playful form of darkness. If I can tell you fuck you when I mean thank you. Because the way to say thank you is not to say fuck you. The way to say thank you is to say thank you when you don't always say thank you for everything and to everyone. When you always say thank you for everything and to everyone, then your thank you has no value. Your thank you will only have value if you use it sparingly. If you don't use it for every little thing. Scarcity has value. Abundance has no value. Abundance has value in its entirety. But scarcity can have value in its smallest units, in its individual parts. Like, for example, gold has value. Individual bars of gold have value because there's a limited amount of gold available. That's why it has value. So your thank you has a value if you don't say thank you all the time to everyone. I would suggest that there should be people you never say thank you to, and there should be days you never say thank you to anyone. I think so, yes. I think when you don't feel like saying thank you, you should not be saying thank you. You should only be saying thank you when you are thankful for what the other person does to you. You don't just say thank you. It's a lie if you just say thank you without meaning to say thank you. You only say thank you when you literally are grateful for the thing or the person you're saying thank you to. Every other time you say thank you, that's your darkness speaking. It's not you. You're only speaking if you mean to be saying the thing which you're saying. Every other time you're saying something, it's your darkness speaking. And we may argue over why the darkness may want to be saying thank you. One of the more obvious would be that you want to lie to the other person that you're thankful when you're not. You want the other person to feel better about you or about the situation than they would if you just told them nothing. You're being dishonest, saying thank you when you mean to say fuck you. Hello, Cyclope. So I think literally the only thing that matters more than anything else is being able to find your darkness and find a way to be a strong enough opponent to it, not to let it say thank you when you don't mean it. That's the only thing. If you can get there, if I can get there, well, I don't see why we can't get anywhere else. Because this was the force stopping us from getting to every place we wanted to get to. This was the reason why we were hesitating to post a video online or to make a comment about something, fearing that the response that this video or the post or whatever would invoke from others would not be good enough or would not make us feel better about ourselves or something. And that's a dark space inside of us. We don't want to go there, okay? We want to avoid our darkness. We want to be at peace with our darkness. We don't want to stir it up. We don't want to awaken the volcano. The darkness, we need to reckon with it. We feel this darkness is a major force. There's no way I can overcome it. There's no way I can challenge it. You cannot challenge it, but you can stand in front of it. That's the only thing you can do. You can never let it out. You can always be there to check what it's trying to do. That's the only thing you need to do. I'm sure all psychotherapy and psychology and everything is meant to help people find their darkness in one way or another and integrate it into their psyche or whatever. I think the best therapy is finding another person who is also willing to do the same for themselves and agree to work together to achieve this mutual darkness finding in each other. Like, I have found my darkness many times when I was disrespected. The feeling or the sense of pride in me, the sense of, I don't want to say self-worth, because self-worth is something else. Let's stick with pride. The sense of pride in me needs to die, but it won't die. You see, that's not how it works. It cannot die. I am always going to be feeling the sense or the feeling of being proud. But I may not have that feeling connected to my sense perceptions. I can set a gasket in between my senses and my feelings. So this gasket in between the senses and the feelings is awareness. Being aware of that which is inside and being aware of that which is outside. And be there to let that which is outside get into that which is inside and vice versa, or not. This is the gasket. This is a thin layer in between the two thick materials or bodies. This is a very thin layer, but this very thin layer is a crucial layer. This layer in between the outside and the inside is the layer to grow. That which is inside is going to be dark or not. That which is outside is going to be dark or not. That which is outside, which is dark, should not necessarily invoke that which is inside, which is dark. And the only reason for why that's possible is because of this gasket, which is in between the inside and the outside, which is the layer of awareness and the layer of separation. I believe animals have no layer like that. They are literally connected. Their inside is literally connected to the outside. They are the same with their environment, but we are not the same, or we are not exactly the same. There's a possibility there somewhere for us being not exactly the same as is the outside. We have a capacity to interrupt being that inside which is being outside. This is a feature. This is a very important feature. And this feature creates all types of issues. People go crazy because they get delusional about what is happening. They get delusional about who they are, and they are believing in their own ideas. People have the capacity to believe rather than just see and observe. And now, that which is naturally present in, let's say, animals or trees is like a state for humans to achieve because of this middle layer separating the inside and the outside, the middle layer of awareness. Awareness probably took a long time to get to the point where it can live on the edge between the inner and the outer. I imagine awareness tried a lot. It tried many different ideas probably, or many different iterations before it got to the point where it can now exist in the middle between the inner and the outer. So this was about darkness. And the layer, the gasket, can be built, can be grown, because it's there. If it's not there, it cannot grow. But if it's there, and I believe it's there in every human being, then it can grow. Then you can make it grow. Then you can love it into growth. And you can care for it to grow. It is your biggest obligation to grow that. It is your biggest reward to see that grow, to experience yourself and the world when you grow it. So finding your darkness is the only thing which needs to be done. You don't have to do anything about it. Finding it, naming it, clearly seeing it is what needs to be done. Nothing else. Everything else will happen on its own. What you need to do is to be able to say that this is my darkness. And whenever I feel that energy come up in me, whenever I feel the urge to diminish another person or make myself look better than I am, that's my darkness. And other people really can help in identifying those areas. So I think it would be great if we could, or I could organize a group of people interested in finding their own darkness. I suggested this to a friend of mine who I've known for like a month. And she said, this sounds emotionally intense. And I bet it does, because it sounds like we're going to be going into some darkness, and we're going to be living in the darkness from now on, okay? We're never gonna get out of darkness. But no, that's not it. It's about finding your darkness, finding my darkness. Because other people have different types of darknesses than ourselves. It's never going to be the same, even though some of it will be shared. But yeah, this was a long video, I get. I'm going to have to edit it, and I pity myself for that. Have a good evening. Peace.